Any minute now. Look at that.
There it is.
What is happening, Restoration Nation? Andy McCabe here, Jeff Jones over there. We
Hello.
are going to talk about the RIA convention and then whatever else we want to talk about.
Yeah,
Mr. Jeff Jones, it has been a minute, man. How you been?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you, Andy. I appreciate you having me on. I'm excited to talk about the convention and all things restoration with you today.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, first let's start with Violand.
Yeah,
New things are happening over there. What's going on?
yeah, hostile takeover. They came in, they tied up Chuck Violand, and they dragged him out the front door
Just
and
drag
said,
him out.
let's get out of here. No, it was a planned transition. Tim Hall, who's our general manager and been with Violand for 15 plus years, and the
Mm,
time was right. Chuck was ready to step away. It wasn't an overnight process. We spent a couple of years on it, very open and honest during the entire time. They kept all the employees aware of what's going on, step by
mm,
step, what's next, everybody's roles in it. So you didn't have a lot of the issues that you get with M&A, where people are just sort of surprised and go, "Oh crap, what now?"
yeah,
And the promise was always take care of yourself, take care of the person next to you, and together we'll all take care of the business. And from that point, it's been a great experience and a learning experience, I think, for all of us, for
yeah.
sure.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. And
Yeah.
Violand, correct me if I'm wrong, is the oldest restoration consulting and education company.
I don't know. We're up there. We're 38 years
Okay.
of coaching restoration businesses. We work in 3 different countries. We're definitely the largest in the world at professional training and in the advisory services world. So a lot of tools and a lot of pressure to perform.
Yeah. So taking guys that want to get off the truck and start running a real business,
That's
all the way up
what.
to, hey, I've done my thing, I've built a good business, I'm ready to sell.
Yeah. For a little while there, that was my leading reason for losing clients. They're coming out of COVID was
They were selling.
they were selling and they don't buy the companies that are struggling. They came in and bought all my best clients. But
Of
you know
course,
what?
of
A
course.
lot of times that was generational money. That was life-changing money for them and their kids and everything. So it was really exciting to I mean, you know their kids because you watch the kids grow up and you
Right.
almost become part of the family in different ways. And to see them everybody starts these business because of the end goal and the dream of having a lifestyle and to see them make that happen for their families, for their employees, for themselves is and was exceptionally cool.
That is so cool. I
Yeah.
love that. That's it just makes me feel good that there is a light, right? There is possibility here.
You and I were just talking about it right before we went live. A little bit tougher in the industry today than normal. It's a few more challenges that are out there, but yeah, things are going to get better, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Good. Well, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this. First off, if you're watching this on any of the platforms, especially on YouTube, you got a question for me or Jeff about anything, just put it in the comments. I should see the comments come up here, and we will answer them as we go. All right. RIA convention, West Palm Beach.
West
When
Palm.
is it?
It is April 28th through the 30th. So
Okay.
there's actually a couple full day courses that take place starting on Sunday the 27th. So you want to go in and you want to get some RIA high level education. They've got one on project management, another one on RIA building, construction, and science. But then the convention itself and the
Hmm,
expo is going to kick off Monday, April 28th, and then
perfect.
runs through Wednesday, and it goes full day, all day Wednesday, and just it's jam packed the entire time that it's going on.
We've got let's go high level highlights. We've got a super panel on AI,
Yeah,
headed up by Doug Weatherman. Shout
yeah,
out to Mr. Weatherman. I'm
yes,
looking forward to that one. What else we got on the docket?
yeah. So it's really cool. As I'm on the event planning committee. I've been on it now for a number of years, and when I remember when we first started, you were trying to find conversations and topics to fill the schedule up. It's like, okay,
Mm,
who knows what and what can we talk about, what can be worthwhile and provide value. Andy, we had, I think it was 85 submissions this year. Normally there's like 15.
Yeah.
So speaking of AI, I think
Wow.
that helped because a lot of people are able to use AI to pump those things out a little quicker. But unbelievable, and just the talent level and the names. And when you go through these lists, and you got to try and figure out, okay, I've got to think of it as a contractor, not a vendor. So I'll let the contractor speak more so when it comes to this. But what are the topics that are the most important? And we try to base that off of previous years' evaluations and discussions that take place at last year's event, and current RIA events that happen in between that. And where are the pain points and where are the opportunities? And then
Mm.
who's addressing them best in the presentation? Who is a great presenter themselves? You have a lot of topics that are unbelievably important and interesting, but there really can be dry topics. And you got
Super.
to find the right person who can put it out there in a way that makes it worth your time and engaging. And what we ended up doing this year that was really cool was maybe we'd have two people who both submitted on a similar type topic who are experts and very well respected. And instead of picking one, we just went to both of them. And like, hey,
Yeah.
we love point A, C, and D that you've got. And over here, we love point B and E that you have. Why don't we blend that together? Why don't you two figure out how to get up on stage and play off of each other and present a wider range and a deeper insight into these
Mm.
topics? And so you've got that this year in a way that we've never really been able to do in years past.
Okay.
So we're getting into, here, let me run through the schedule. You've got the keynote is on growth strategies to drive top and bottom lines. And I'm kind of hoping he focuses a lot on the bottom line right now, especially. We're getting into, there's a roundtable where you're going to get in and you're going to find the discussions that you want to talk and work through, and you'll be able to go around the group and find the right tables, the right conversations that you want to be part of. Aftermath of a large apartment complex fires. You want to hear what that looks like, large loss standpoint. Translating vision into action, growth leadership. We've got enhancing restoration and insurance claims ecosystems. One on maximizing RIA resources, another one on understanding the new S700 fire standard, cultivating and empowering talent. There's one on environmental services. Yeah.
Who's leading the S700 talk?
S700, I think, is the other one that they were just finalizing, but let me double check. Oh, nope, we've got that one. Bran Lynch, John Pletcher, Mark Springer, and Cliff Zlotnick. And Cliff is obviously a well-known, well-respected, and kind of one of the godfathers in the industry.
Yeah. Now the 700, how long did it take? 5 years?
I heard it was a process. Yeah.
I mean, I remember like pre-COVID hearing that there might be a smoke and fire damage standard.
Yeah, I know that Mark Springer was a big part of that as well. And so it'll give you a chance to come in. And I saw when it came out, and I'm not a techie guy to the level that you and a lot of the listeners are. So I heard on Rebels and other places where people were sort of pushing back on some of the things and had questions and comments and concerns. And this is the opportunity to be like, hey, you wrote this thing. I think this, you thought that. Explain to me your process behind coming up with this and trying to get to more of that consensus and better understanding.
Yeah, I like it. And it couldn't have had better timing with the Palisade fires. It was I don't remember, was it the Palisade fires started happening and then the S700 came out the next week or something, or vice versa?
Yeah,
all right, keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going down the list. What else we got?
Yeah, a few other ones. We've got managing labor, how many people and who employs them. The one that you mentioned about AI, elevating restoration with AI tools. And then we're going to finish up with one on mergers and acquisitions and that light at the end of the tunnel. So a couple of people have been through both sides of the process as the buyer or the seller and the lessons that were learned. And again, the end game for everybody is at some point a transition. And so that doesn't happen in 30 days. It took us 2 years to do it. And we coach people for a living in how to do it. So if you have no understanding of it, that's a 5-10 year process. At least it better be if you want to maximize everything. So let's just get you started thinking about it right now.
Yeah, I think JT Cry recommends a 5-year horizon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he knows his stuff.
If you want to sell, if you're not gonna sell today, you're not gonna sell tomorrow, you're gonna sell in 5 years from today. But you start planning today.
The amount of phone calls I get from people, and I'll say, how'd you hear about us? And they say, well, we were planning on selling the business, and they went to somebody like JT or Gokul or somebody else, and they got the evaluation back, and it was nowhere near what they thought it was going to be. And they're
Mm.
going, okay, I thought I had a good business. I still think I have a good business, but it's not as profitable because it doesn't meet these different standards that I've got to get to. So can you help me getting there? It's one of my number one reasons somebody's coming on board as a client right now.
Yeah. And on that subject, I think Jeff Moore with ATI has a valuation tool,
Mm-hmm.
right? Is that part of the RIA ecosystem?
It is
Or,
part of the ecosystem. I believe it's his tool. I think it's an ATI tool, but
okay.
it is, Jeff's the vice president and president-elect, or soon to be president. So it is available through the RIA, and he'll share all of that.
All right. So along those lines, you get that with a bunch of other stuff if you are an RIA member.
Yeah.
We are in record territory. We have a record number of members of the RIA.
Yes, we do.
And I'm assuming, while there are still tickets left to the convention, I'm assuming it's going to sell out again, and we're going to have record attendance this year.
Yeah.
So, where do folks go if they want to be members, become members of the RIA?
Yeah, great question. And there's a lot of reasons to. As a first-time member, you can actually join for $299 for the whole year. I mean, that's insane.
Practically free.
And it is when you factor in, if you come to the convention, the discount for being a member versus non-member is going to cover that. And we can get into the affinity partnership and the discounts you get from different vendors. You actually will make money. You will print money by being a member, by following and using the affinity program they have in place from people you're already buying from. So $299 for the entire year for a first-time member. You just go to restorationindustry.org. And there's a register button right there. It takes about 3 minutes to get through. If you can't, the registration process, honestly, is a little bit wonky. We've been trying to fix that for a couple of years now. So if you do have problems with it, just reach out to me and I'll get you in contact with the person at RIA and we'll get you registered. We are happy to take your money and your information as quickly as possible. So we'll get you in and be part of it and start getting the benefits.
Yeah, my membership pays for itself with just the discount to Xactimate.
Yeah, that's a
lot of people are not aware that you can actually get a discount on that subscription for Xactimate. And you do it through the RIA Affinity program.
There's probably 15, 20 vendors that are part of that. Sunbelt is one, Reach Drying Academy is one, CERTI, Viola Management is one. So if you use these companies' products or services and you let them know you're an RIA member, they have the discounts already in place. You don't even have to do anything other than let them know that you're a member, and it automatically gets applied.
Okay, let's go back to the convention. There's no golf tournament this year.
No.
But we've got you mentioned the roundtables, which is good. What else we need to highlight there?
There's a couple of receptions that take place. There's a welcome reception, and then Sunbelt every year sponsors one on the second night that's outstanding, and they always try to bring in some live music, and you have a great time, and that's where you have a lot of these discussions. Because I think my first RIA convention that I went to was back in like 2013, and it was my second industry convention overall. I've been to other trade shows in other industries, and the reason I got involved in RIA was from that first convention. I went to it just as a nobody know nothing kid trying to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing here at Violan. And everybody I talked to just opened up and talked like a normal human being. Like you didn't have that ego and those walls and I'm greater than you and the blank swinging contests that take place at other places. And you had real conversations because everybody was there to learn. And that doesn't happen a lot. And so it became so important just to become part of that. And these conversations happen wherever you go, whether you're in one of the classes, you're standing out in the hallway. People aren't standing there staring at their watch because they got to be at the show. They're there because they want to be. They're not trying to sell you anything while you're at it. You're there to learn and have these conversations. And you're going to sit there with people that own a $50 million business. And the next person you're going to talk to is going to be somebody that has a $1 million business. And guess what? They both have something engaging to say. And so we encourage you, show up and ask as many questions as you can.
100%. Well, there's I think this year, of all the years in the history of RIA and history of restoration, I really believe this is a pivotal year.
Hmm.
Either the restoration industry steps up, but comes together and establishes a voice and establishes a position and establishes their place long term in restoration, or we just all become vendors of the insurance industry complex, and the uniqueness and profitability and freedom that we now enjoy is going to go away.
It's
I
eroding
really believe that.
everything. Yep.
The insurance industry has been pushing for managed repair for a long time. They've got a beachhead now with TPAs. TPAs have crossed over the 25-30% market penetration threshold. And now the next step is we're going to they want to wipe out the independent restorers.
Mhm.
They want them off the table so they can run it. And we have a chance still. I really believe we have a chance still. But we need to take that chance and come together in a meaningful way.
Yeah, and these discussions take place because you're going to have people in the room there that, well, take Jeff Moore at ATI. They do a lot of hundreds of millions of dollars in TPA work, and he's going to be on one side of it. And you're going to have, like, my friend John Fields at Restore Pro, Restoration Rebels member, who has very, very strong opinions as it comes to not working with TPAs. And they can sit there and they can have a responsible conversation where we can say, okay, we're never going to run our businesses the exact same way. And that's true of any industry that you're in. But let's talk through where everybody's lane is and what's best for the industry as a whole, because we need each other in order to survive, because insurance companies are so massive and their lobbying groups are so gigantic. And yes, the RIA has the AGA, and we're trying really, really hard. Our budget is this, their budget is significantly larger. And so as a group, we can't afford to splinter. We've got to talk this through.
Yeah, there was, I don't remember who the speaker was at the AGA event in Phoenix at the ATI headquarters there in North Phoenix last month, but they said something along, I'm going to use big numbers here. Annual property and casualty premiums in the United States, 1.3 trillion. Best case scenario, size of annual restoration industry, the restoration, ultimate size, maybe 200 billion.
Oof.
So we have a total market of 200 billion going against another market of 1.3 trillion. We have to come together. We have to get creative. We have to put aside our differences as professional restorers and find our common ground. Because if we don't, we're going to just get swept away.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago, we were out at a trade show called WET, and it's one of, if not the largest trade show in the country for the plumbing industry. And this thing is massive. It's in Indianapolis the week before the Pro Combine every single year. Mass. I mean, it blows away any show that we have in restoration in size. And the entire week we were out there, we never heard anybody say?
Insurance.
They're having trouble getting paid.
Yeah.
Never one time. It was
not
refreshing. That was not one conversation that we ever had. This is your bill and you get paid. Now, maybe a homeowner might stiff you or something here or there, but it's a different world. But that's the sandbox that we play in. And whether you're on this side of it or you're on that side of it, if we're not getting paid and we're not getting paid what we deserve, and the fact that we can charge this tiny amount for our technician, and a plumber can charge 2-3 times more when they're not any more skilled. That's not right. That's not fair. And that's what the AGA is trying to work on. Is it happening as fast as everybody wants? Of course not. Look at what we're up against. But it's starting to move the needle. And that's another reason we need help in the RIA, is because, quite frankly, we need the numbers and we need the money and we need the engagement and we need other ideas and we need people to volunteer and say, okay, I'm going to pick up that flag and I'm going to charge up the next hill. And when I'm done, somebody's got to take it from me and go the next one. Ed Cross started that, and there's been others who have been part of it, and Katie Smith, and they're looking for the next group of leaders in the industry to take that forward and continue the charge.
Yeah, there's a problem when consistently the number one risk to restorers is the risk of not getting paid.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's consistent, and it's just gotten worse and worse and worse. I'm handling more and more appraisals now that my fees and the opposing appraiser's fees and the umpire's fees are more than the difference of opinion on the appraisal. And insurance companies know that, and they're using that against us.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, these restorers are hanging out there. I've got 3 going right now, and anytime in let's just pick a number. The average mitigation, these are bigger mitigations, $80,000.
Mm-hmm.
The average offer, 20,000. So these insurance companies are saying, well, we don't have to pay full price because we're just going to grind these guys down.
Yeah.
We're going to wait them out. And 201 at the end of the day, my clients on the restoration side are saying, hey, I would have taken 50 of the 80 if they had offered it. Because that's how desperate and how in an disadvantaged situation we found ourselves in as an industry. So is Ed Cross going to be speaking at all? Is he on the docket?
I don't think I've ever been to an RIA event that Ed Cross wasn't speaking at. So
Me either.
And I say that with love. I love Eddie. He'll be there. I don't know if he's got a spot up on stage or not at any time. I'm sure we'll do something with the AGA where he'll be up there because he is vocal and a leader in that group. And going back to that getting paid thing, I mean, that's a shame that you've got to accept the $50,000. And the reason you have to do that is because you can't make payroll in 2 weeks.
Exactly.
That's how we've got pushed back on all of this with it. And Andy, I'm afraid it's getting worse because think about where insurance companies make their money. They're not making their money insuring your property. The California wildfire demonstrates why they don't. It's a Ponzi scheme. They make their money on the markets. Well, what's the market doing right now? How much longer is this going to go? What's happening right now is only going to get worse because they're not going to sell their shares of Microsoft to go pay out your insurance claim. It ain't going to happen.
No, they're not.
So if the market continues to fluctuate like this, we're in for a really rough year. And another reason why we've all got to get together on the same boat and see if we can rise the tide here. Yeah,
I agree. It's hold on to your butts here, people.
Cash will be king.
Cash will be king. And we're in a weird position as restorers in that when you hire an electrician, you hire a plumber. You brought up plumbers, and I think it's a great example.
Mm-hmm.
You expect to pay that person, but somehow people go get a restorer to come do work at their house. They don't expect to pay them, and that's not okay. That's not right.
Yeah, to make it really bad, the number one thing that we're spending time on with our clients right now is staffing. We're not a staffing company. Now, that was the case around COVID when everything was going on and everybody was staying home. That was happening. And then it stopped. And then other things took over as a bigger pressing need. Well, that's done. It's right back to that. We have very few clients that are fully staffed all of the time with top talent up and down because they can't find the people to do it. One of the reasons they can't find people to do it is because what we've got to pay. And it's below market. And this is a tough job. None of us dressed up as a water technician at 6 years old trick-or-treating because we have a love of sucking sewer water out of a stranger's basement at 2:00 in the morning.
No, we did not.
It takes a special individual to want to do this and to view it as a career, not a stopgap to the next time you have a buddy who's got a job holding one of the stop and slow down signs on the road opens up. And so how do we find people, recruit them back in, and then show that this is an industry that does affect people's lives and make that part of the culture, not just within your organization, but throughout the industry? When you have to spend most of your day sitting on your computer typing really mad emails at somebody 5 states away.
Yeah.
So that's a tough balance.
It's tough to pay full wages when you're not getting paid in full for the work you're doing.
Yeah.
And it's just everything piles on and creates this perfect storm we're trying to live through right now.
You have to the ability of just going out and selling more and jumping that top line sales so much that it hides the sins underneath is gone.
Yeah.
The people that are succeeding and will continue to succeed focus as much time on their business and becoming better business people as they do becoming better restorers.
Yeah.
And that's the world that we live in. Is you've got to be a business person now that happens to do restoration, not a restoration person that happens to own a business.
Right. Right. I agree 100%. Well, we didn't get any questions. Come on, people. Let me down, but it's all right. Well, how about an email address if people want to ask you questions, Mr. Jeff?
Yeah, absolutely. It's jjones@violand, which is V as in Victor, IOLAND.com. So if you have any questions on the RIA, you want to get involved, we're looking for people to join the different committees that are out there always. They're looking for leadership. We're looking for people in the task force. If you want to talk through anything else, restoration, this is my world. It's what I've grown to love.
Perfect. Yeah. I think we were at the same RIA back in 2013. Has it been that long?
Yeah, that was my first. Actually, funny story. Working the table, and I knew maybe like 3 people there besides, my fellow, besides Chuck, and this young husband and wife come up to the booth and start talking to me, and she was in the process of buying the business from her parents, and just great conversation. I think she had met Chuck at one of the John Donne Strategies for Success events or something, and we just became good friends. Well, it ended up being Katie Smith, who's now the past president of the RIA. So you never know who you're going to meet on the way up, who are going to be great resources for you and great pieces of your network, but more importantly, great people that you can pick up the phone and say, hey, I got a question. I'm thinking about this. Can you give me a minute of your time and build out that sort of what I call Mount Rushmore, the 4 people in the industry outside of your own company that you have to rely on to get real advice. And she's one of mine as far as, you're real smart. Can you teach me something right now?
Yeah, and in events like this conference are one of the few times where people with a high level of expertise, experience, and wisdom actually have the time.
Yeah.
Because, I get hit up on the daily almost with a DM. Hey, can I pick your brain? Can I get a minute of your time? Can I have 5 minutes? No, you can't. But if you find me, in the middle of the vendor aisle at the RIA, I got nothing else to do but share. So that's it's amazing. It really is amazing. I can almost walk up to anyone in the room and ask them a question, and they will take the time to answer it. So
yeah, cool thing. If you go there and you want to meet a Jeff Moore, you want to meet a Ben Looper, you want to meet an Ed Cross, they're in all the sessions as participants. And they're there asking questions. The smartest people I've ever met in my entire life are the ones who say, I don't know, the most often. They're curious. And they're in those classes trying to learn along with the rest of you. And they're looking for advice and information and these questions too. And it's really hard to get a hold of those people outside of that because they're busy running multi-million-dollar companies.
Yes,
but while they're there to learn. And that mindset allows for conversations to happen that just don't happen anywhere else.
Yeah, I agree.
Pretty cool.
All right, Jeff, I'm looking forward to seeing you, my friend.
Yes, thank you. You too.
And as soon as I find a place to stay, sounds like all the hotel rooms are booked. At least in the blocks for the RIA, which is fine. I'll get an Airbnb or something.
Yep.
But you're going to be in the hotel there.
Block. They're trying to get one. Hopefully we'll get one. If not, again, it's going to sell out. Sold out last year. It's going to sell out again this year. So get a spot to stay. Get your ticket bought as soon as possible. Price only goes up. So no reason to wait.
Yeah. Don't think like I did last year and think you can just show up and get in.
You cannot.
I had to beg, borrow, and steal and maybe bribe some people to get myself in there because it was sold out. It was
good. We had an advisor who lived in Dallas who showed up wanting to pop in to see some of his clients. Could not get him. He had to stand out in the lobby the whole time. They would not let him in. They would not tell him one, which I thought was hilarious. But he didn't find it as funny as I did. So
Yeah, I didn't have to pull the "Don't you know who I am" card, but it was close. It
See,
was
you could
close.
do it and get away with it. That makes it even better.
Oh man. All right, Jeff. Great to have you, man.
Hey, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate it and hope to see everybody down at RIA.
All right, man.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Take care.